I think it's fair to say that every producer, regardless of what genre they make, will often find themselves reaching for piano plugins. Whether it's being used as the main instrument in your melody or more as a background layer, having a high quality, realistic sounding piano is very important. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some of my favourite piano plugins, both free and paid. As usual, I'll make sure to leave links to all of the plugins in the video description so you can go and check them out for yourself. Kicking off the list, we have a free plugin that contains a good few high quality pianos. Labs by Spitfire Audio has 6 piano libraries that can be downloaded for free, and all of them sound absolutely amazing. Pianos are not the only instruments you'll find inside Labs, as you'll also find strings, choirs, synth sounds and much more. The interface for all of these Labs instruments is going to be pretty much identical with very little controls. What we do have is this big dial in the center of the plugin which can be clicked to reveal some more parameters. Some instruments are going to have more parameters than others, and the effects that are assigned to this dial are also going to change from instrument to instrument. Over on the left you'll find 2 sliders that are going to control the expression and dynamics. The expression slider basically controls the overall volume of the sound, and the function of the dynamic slider is going to change depending on what instrument or articulation you have loaded. There's not really too much more to see with this plugin, so I'm now going to show you some of the piano libraries that can be found inside of Labs. Next up we have a plugin from Arturia that I find myself using quite a lot. The Augmented Grand Piano plugin is quite an interesting one that will allow you to mix your regular sampled pianos with synthesized layers to create unique sounds. Just like all of Arturia's other plugins, the Augmented Grand Piano comes with a suite of effects that can be applied and tweaked to transform your sounds and add emotion and character to them. The sound design section of this plugin allows you to go in depth when designing sounds by using 2 layers, each of which contains 2 sound sources. I think that presets, the amount and the quality of them have to be taken into consideration when rating any plugin, and the Augmented Grand Piano certainly doesn't disappoint on this front either. Of course we have the regular high quality sounds that you'd expect from any piano plugin, but then we also have access to some more unconventional layered sounds that are going to work great when making spacious or atmospheric music. On the main screen of the GUI we have these 7 macro knobs which can be customized in the advanced section of the plugin. Then this main dial in the center of the plugin is going to allow you to morph between layers A and B. Most of the presets that come with the plugin are going to have one layer that sounds more realistic and then a more synthesized and textured layer. This plugin can be picked up for anywhere between $80 and $100, and in my opinion that's quite reasonable. It's not the cheapest plugin on the list, but it's definitely not the most expensive either. So here's what the Augmented Grand Piano is going to sound like in action. Another free piano plugin I think every producer should have in their collection is Keyzone Classic. This was one of the first piano plugins that I downloaded, so I'd be lying if I said that I haven't outgrown it. But if you're on a low budget and want a high quality, realistic sounding piano, then this one is definitely for you. Just like most free plugins, you're not going to get tons of features to mess with, but what you are going to get is some high quality sounding pianos and electric pianos. There are 5 presets that come with Keyzone Classic, including a Rhodes piano, an electric piano, as well as sampled Steinway and Yamaha pianos. The features we do have include a basic envelope section with ADSR settings, detune and reverb knobs, some control over the velocity curve, as well as an LFO that can be used to control pitch, expression and panning. This one is 100% a must-have for producers that are trying to collect plugins without breaking the bank. So that's enough talking about Keyzone Classic. Now let's take a listen to how it sounds. Of course, there was always going to be some Kontakt libraries on this list, as in my opinion, they're some of the most realistic piano sounds you can get. The Noir Piano is one of my go-tos as it's just so versatile. Customizing this piano is going to be very easy using the 5 controls that are located on the main screen of the GUI. These controls are made up of colour, which is going to change the overall tone of your sound. The tonal shift is going to alter the speed and length of the sound that's being played back. Moving this dial to the right will result in a sharper, more quicker sound, and bringing it over to the left will result in a deeper sound with less attack. As you can probably guess, the dynamic knob is going to control the dynamic range of the sound. Bringing this one to the left is going to compress the sound, and bringing it over to the right is going to expand it. Then over on the right we have reverb and delay knobs, which are pretty self-explanatory. Up in the piano edit page you're going to have some fine-tune controls over things like pedal noises and release. And another really interesting part of this library is the particle section. When switched on, this doesn't sound the most realistic, but what it does offer up is some really interesting background layers. Overall, I think the Noir Piano is one of the best in its category, and it is a great addition to any producer's toolkit. But of course, the most important part of any piano plugin is how it sounds, so let's take a listen to how the Noir Piano sounds. The next plugin's another free one, this time from Steinberg, and it's called the LoFi Piano. The name would suggest that this plugin's only good for lo-fi beats, but that's just not true. This instrument was recorded from an upright acoustic piano using vintage microphones, giving it a retro analog feel. It does come with quite a few presets, however I found that a lot of these presets use the same sound source and then just use the inbuilt effects to make it sound different. The effects that you'll find in this plugin include the usual lo-fi suspects like flutter, saturation, bit reduction and filtering. Overall, what we have here is a high quality piano that sounds amazing and will give you tracks that vintage aged feel. Considering this plugin is free, it's definitely a no-brainer to download this one as it is going to have its uses. Here's what you can expect to hear from the LoFi Piano plugin. Alright, so next we have the most expensive plugin on the list, which of course is Keyscape. Coming in at around $350, this plugin is the final boss of piano plugins and includes my favourite grand piano preset from any plugin. Alongside this, there's also a ton of emulations for other keyed instruments like Rhodes, toy pianos and much more. The quality of the sounds found in Keyscape cannot be knocked, and you would like to hope so considering the price. On the main screen of the GUI, you're going to find different settings to tweak depending on what preset you have loaded. Obviously we're here to look at pianos today, so I'm going to go over the settings that can be found in the LA Grand Piano. On the left, you're going to find a character section which allows you to pick from different moods, and then we also have a color shift knob. This is going to change the overall tone of the sound by making it darker or brighter. Next to this, we have a reverb section which is pretty self-explanatory, and then over on the right we have some performance controls like release and pedal noises. As well as this main section, we also have some control over the EQ, compression and fine-tune controls of your release should you want to tweak them. My favourite preset from Keyscape is the washed variant of the LA Grand Piano, and here's how it sounds. The next piano I'm going to show you is absolutely free, but requires the free kontakt player to run it. The Heaviosity Foundations piano is another really clean sounding piano that has an ambient and cinematic sound to it. Recorded from a modern grand piano, this instrument combines acoustic piano with processed synthetic elements to create a unique hybrid sound. On the home screen, we have two knobs that are going to control the overall volume of your piano and texture layers. In the envelope section, we have some simple ADSR settings, as well as some control over when the sample starts. Below this, we have the arpeggiator section, which is going to allow you to choose from different modes and design your own arpeggiator patterns. Then lastly, we have quite a simple effect section, which will allow you to add punch, delay and reverb to your sound. There are 10 presets that come with this plugin, and each of them have their own unique, distinctive sound. I particularly like the arpeggiated and rhythmic presets. With these presets, you're able to just play a chord, and that chord will then be broken up into a sequenced melody. Another great free piano plugin is the 1928 Grand Piano from SoundPaint. This one's going to require you to download the free SoundPaint player in order to use it. The sounds in this plugin are sampled from an old Steinway piano from 1928. This library is made up of over 4,000 samples, equaling to over 8 gigabytes of data, so for a free plugin that is just crazy. The SoundPaint player itself has a ton of options when it comes to customization, with a built-in arpeggiator, effects, and you can even build your own custom instruments inside of it too. This 1928 piano comes with 32 unique presets. Included in these presets are your regular dry sounding pianos that you can mix and add your own effects to. There's some really nice degraded pianos that will work great in lo-fi beats, and some more moody sounding pianos with reverse effects on them that will be great for darker beats like drill and trap. Kinda crazy how this one's free with all of the stuff that comes with it, but obviously you're going to want to hear how it sounds.